Of all the great men and women who have contributed to the richness of America, John Adams is among those who are easily recognizable by anyone who has had any education in the United States. Yet if those same people were questioned as to why or how John Adams contributed to America's richness, they might find themselves hard-pressed for any additional knowledge. In light of the outstanding academic, political, and cultural contributions attributed to John Adams, this need be amended, and I relish this opportunity to contribute to that process. Mr. John Adams was indeed a learned and exacting man, but he was also impetuous and uncompromising, which from a different perspective might simply be called passionate. As a Harvard-educated New Englander, John Adams was an early supporter of the American cause, and his education in law proved invaluable to promote this cause. With his education, Adams became a prominent lawyer in Boston, after which he quickly developed a reputation as a public intellectual. So meticulous was Adams that he wrote precise descriptions of all men in the courtroom, and this would sometimes reveal some significant detail that would win him the cause. His passion and his precision had him destined for great things. This education and experience in law established a philosophical framework that allowed for one of the greatest American intellectual achievements to blossom. In the dialogues between the American academics of the Revolution, Adams defended the principle of a constitutional and republican government. Adams made his views explicitly clear when he said, "There is no good government but what is republican. The only valuable part of the British Constitution is so, because the very definition of a republic is an empire of laws and not of men." Adams was the leading philosophical architect to establish a design for a viable constitutional state. His early thoughts on government greatly influenced the early state constitutions of the pre-revolution, and his later thoughts influenced the federal post-revolution constitution. As a manifestation of his Enlightenment values, instead of rooting his political philosophy in fantasy or idealism, Adams found the basis for his constitutional republicanism in historical fact and scrupulous observation of the political world. Armed with knowledge of the classical systems of government, Adams advocated a view that effectively mixed the wisdom of old with the modern ideas of separation of powers and checks and balances. Even though Adams was a top-rate academic and philosopher, he did not remain comfortably perched in the ivory towers of academia. He often found himself in the middle of popular debate. As a hybrid of a politician and an intellectual, Adams is often overlooked as neither. He was not the first president, he did not write or even sign the federal Constitution, and his resolutions about war with Britain were widely unpopular, even with his own party, during his presidency. But any careful examination of constitutionalism and republicanism in the United States will show that John Adams should be in fact amongst the most celebrated of the founders.